So there are rumors that Dan Bilzerian is fleeing his country. Um, they burned through $50 million worth of cash in the past year. Well, Ignite International Brands did. And he's also getting sued by a former employee of Ignite over wrongful termination of his contract and pretty much being a spoiled rich white kid. Yet the stock BILZ, trades under the ticker symbol BILZ, is up 63% on the day, up over 73% in 5 days. To me, that's just ridiculous. I mean, it might have something to do with that. Dan Bilzerian announced that he would purchase $50,000, 50,000 shares at 50 cents per share, um, and then with an aggregate subscription of Canadian 5 million. But I mean, still, this is a company that is failing. It's definitely not igniting right now. And again, there's speculations of Bilzerian fleeing the country as Ignite company spirals towards bankruptcy. And it's pretty much summarized in these few seconds in this video right here, which I really like.
Make it look like their companies are taking major losses. So the 50 million he reportedly lost last year is no big deal either. I don't think you guys understand what Dan is really doing here. He's funneling investor money in and basically using this money as his own personal bank account.
So yeah, he is getting sued pretty much for having these extravagant expenses and putting them on the company's name, right? Putting them as something that the company needs to pay for, right? So Heverman is suing Dan for a wrongful termination in the company. And Dan fired Hefferman because he didn't approve a bunch of his business expenses. And so, for example, some of these business expenses, were paying for $100,000 flight to London or buying a paintball field for $75,000 and expecting investors to pay for it, right? And so in total, he had $843,000 in personal expenses, which is just huge, right? And so the trial is actually booked for 7th of December in 2021. Sorry, excuse that. So that's just, on the trial side of things, right? And these are all just like my personal investment advice. Note that I'm not a financial advisor, but if you were in this company, I would run for the hills. I would definitely, before he ignites all the cash that you put into this stock, right? So pretty much their Q2 results were terrible. As I said, they burned through $50 million worth of cash in the past year. And they also didn't publish their Q2 results for 2.5 months until after the deadline, right? Again, it's just not good company management, and we'll go over all of this when I pull up the Q2 report. But also, I just want to say that it also was very hard finding the Q2 results. I had to go through, this like little news article, had to go to cedar.com, and then this is like some sort of archaic looking website. And then finally, I got their company results, okay, their Q2 results. So again, let's just pull both of these up. So from a financial perspective, I feel like they're going to be insolvent pretty damn soon, right? You look at this here. So they had $15 million worth of cash as of last quarter, Q2 2019, Q2 2020. They have just under $6 million worth of cash. So they burned through about $1.5 million worth of cash each month, which is ridiculous. How do they burn so much cash? This is a company that, okay, sure, it's supposed to be growing, but to lose $10 million worth of cash is just is very concerning in my opinion. Okay, and I mean they're not growing basically at all as if we compare to a year ago, right? So you have to think that the pandemic is very good for MJ players because people are sitting at home, they want to smoke, and so what happens when that happens is like companies like Ignite, which sell a lot of their products online, tend to do really well. However, even when we look here, their inventory, so their products went from $6 million worth of inventories to $8 million. So this past quarter, Q2 2020, their inventories actually increased from a year ago by about $2 million worth. And so that means that they're not moving product around at all, which is to me very concerning, right? Also, there's no growth from the same time last year. You look at the gross profit, which is sales revenue minus cost of goods sold, of 800,000 of Q2 last year versus 865,000 of Q2 2020, which is, kind of concerning, which maybe speaks to bad management or unlawful business expenses, right? And I mean, we can look at cost of goods sold increased from 1.2 million to 2.3 million. So over a $1 million worth of increase of cost of goods sold. Now this led to total operating expenses of about 7 million, which operating loss of close to 7 million, which is this line right here, right? So their total operating expenses were 8 million, and against a gross profit of 865,000, which equals basically a loss of 7 million. So again, this is very, very concerning for a company that's supposed to be doing very well in terms of its growth. And so, I mean, like, how is it even possible to have 1 million more worth of cost of goods sold from an increase of last year? And if we go down this company to item 24 quick, we'll see actually that, let me just zoom this in a little bit, their office expenses actually increased, right? Both on the quarter from 2019 to 2020, from 222,000 to 445,000. So pretty much a doubling of office expenses when the whole economy is shut down. Also from 6 months ended June 30, 2019 versus 2020, their office expenses went from 412,000 to 994,000. So I mean, there might be something to this trial right here. And it's funny because Dan actually tried to take the high ground and accused Hefferman of taking drugs and acting strange, right? So, I mean, again, just kind of funny considering that Dan owns a company selling MJ products. So, kind of interesting. And also facilities expenses, which I'm not sure what the difference between office and facilities expenses are, also increased quarter over quarter from 2019 to 2020, but also from 6 months ended 2019 to 6 months ended 2020. So, I mean, this is just not good news, right? And if I were a bank, or even I don't even know if any bank would lend this money company to make it solvent for much longer. That's just my opinion. Who would loan a company that's just burning through cash at this rate with not much revenue growth? Okay. So, I mean, I just don't like the transparency. And just like with my other previous stock in NAT, there are little fishy financial practices going on. This is just outright, just like if you're trying to find financial information on this, it's so goddamn hard to, right? So I just don't like this at all. I don't like how they're burning through cash. And when I look at a company, I look at to investing in it. I like to see a company with very transparent management, and I just don't see that here. So I mean, if you are in this company, I would love to know why you are in this company. And if you did enjoy this video on Ignite, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And yeah, I hope to see you for the next one. Take care, guys.